we really have no idea how long we're actually here. So it's one resource that is constantly being expended. You're going through time. You're spending it no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
so see, time and energy are the most valuable thing. Energy. And energy breaks down to two things. So time, you're going to spend it regardless on anything. It's either invested or wasted. It doesn't matter. It's always ticking. Energy comes down to two things. You got your physical energy and you got your mental energy. So your mental energy is just a fancy way of saying attention. Is where your attention. So that's why they say where your attention goes, your energy flows. So whatever you're thinking about is where you're going to act. So that's what becomes your physical. So whatever you're thinking about, you're actually going to do. So your physical energy, your mental energy, and your time are always going to be spent. Whether you spend them on crap or you spend them on good stuff. No matter what, they're going to be spent.
It's not like you can save it for later.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
So like millionaires and billionaires are like, if I could spend all my money, what would they do it? They would go back in time. So if billionaires want to spend back on time and you have time, you actually, if you're 45 and the billionaire is 74 and he's going to die next year, 1 year left, nothing is worth anything because time is worth the most.
Yeah, he's going to give everything away to go back and be 45.
So
because
a 45-year-old is richer in time, which is excellent. This is what the billionaire wants. So that's the whole thing. So when you stop giving unsolicited advice, it saves you so much time and energy that you can be dedicated to something. So let me give you a quick example. Think about all the time that you spend on social media consuming it. Like, just think about it. If you just made the shift from consuming to producing, just made it, how many times have you gone on social media? How much time have you spent on it? If you spend all the time producing it, you'll probably be famous right now. You know, that's what it is. So just so you get a thing. You spend 2-3 hours like that, go by. What if you produce those 2-3 hours?
Or that's utilize how much those hours better.
Yeah.
Like if that's going to be more beneficial to yourself instead of like just entertainment.
Exactly. So that's one of the examples. The solution of this whole problem is really time and effort invested instead of wasted. So sometimes you have to be aware that a lot of the most precious asset is your time and energy and your attention is where you're putting it to. If you're putting it to people that are not asking for advice, it's really a waste of time. But it's so luring because it's so obvious that we have the solution to their problem, but they don't really want to know. Sometimes they just want attention. Or they just want to feel sorry for them.
They want to be validated.
Yeah. That's all it is. Sometimes that's all. It's like you just accept it and move on. Give them a solution and just move on because you got better shit to do. Really.
Yeah, because it's like when people come and they complain and they whine about their day, it's like, okay, there's venting, but if they continue to do it over and over, you're kind of like, well, obviously this person keeps coming to me. They must think that I know something that they don't. So let me go ahead and offer it. But then when they receive it, you're like, oh no, that's not what they wanted. They just wanted validation. So once you recognize that, be like, okay, well, I'm sorry that happened to you and just move on.
Yeah. It's easier said than done, but.
Well, it's easier. Yes. Yeah. And it's more difficult to recognize. Absolutely.
But you'll get better and better. I'm better and better. I'll be like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then I just move on. It's just, you're just more ruthless with time. You're just more ruthless with your energy. Because you just don't you want to invest it. If you look at it as an investment, like, what am I really going to get out of it? I let them know. And there's people that ask for advice and they don't do anything. I just ignore them. Well, or just real short with them because they're just a waste of time. And it's okay.
It is. Because
sometimes I was a waste of time to other people.
Those are the resources that you cannot get back. It's like you cannot save them. You cannot do anything to like hold it still and just utilize later. No. All that we can do with like time and energy is maybe take steps to where we can prolong like their resource.
Oh, yeah.
But like they're always being depleted. They're constantly being depleted.
That's what they call energy vampires, right?
Oh, I heard this great thing. Speaking of that, it kind of like, it was a new perspective because I've heard of energy vampires, but we were listening, Rob Dial, we were listening to him and he put it into a really great kind of perspective. He's like, you have vacuums or batteries. So people that are batteries are ones that give you energy, recharge you, and keep you pushing forward. Like they're more beneficial, supportive. But supportive is kind of like a subjective word. But regardless, they're the ones that give you the push to do what's necessary. Whereas vacuums just like sock you dry.
Take time and energy. Yeah.
Oh yes. And they're not good for anything.